Full speed ahead, boo-boo!
Okay.
Take off with the wildest bears on Earth. Meet Yogi and Boo Boo.
Looking good, Yogi.
They're grabbing lunch,
We've got our first customers.
one basket at a time.
Nice day for a picnic. What the heck was that?
Oh, I have problems with potato salad.
Bears avoid people, not run around stealing their food.
I smell PB&J. I'm okay.
Yogi's got the smarts.
You do come up with some good plans, Yogi.
That's because I'm smarter than the average bear.
Boo Boo's got the moves.
Kicking it.
Hey, boo-boo, let's go fuck with Ranger Smith again. Because you know that's all he does, man.
Yeah.
He talks like this, and he gets a lot of a picnic of biscuits.
Hey, I'm the only Jewish bear in the forest.
What about the ranger, Yogi?
Fuck the ranger. Which is what he always says, man. I mean, it's a very simple cartoon because that's what Yogi does. I mean, that's what they do. That was why I was wondering how they're going to make a movie about this. It's a bear that has a picnic basket addiction, and he likes to just screw around with this ranger all day.
Well, now let's be fair. He really is smarter than the average bear.
Oh, he talk. You know, he wears a hat and a tie.
He talk. He wears clothes. He walks on two legs instead of all four. So that's a phenomenon in itself.
I'm about to say, I didn't learn how to tie a tie until I was 24. This bear knew how to tie a tie at the age of 3. So
even the movie acknowledges that, you know, that it's not one of those like Garfield where like no one really hears him, just the audience. It's like, okay, the movie acknowledges this bear can talk, he walk around, he's smart, and that he is rare, which seems to indicate there are other talking bears somewhere. But even so, when you get to the whole plot of the film, which is of course, you know, the only really thing they could come up with was we've got to save the park against evil developers. You're like, why don't you just advertise that you got a talking bear? It seems like right there, it's story over,
Well,
really.
Clearly, we're in a universe where, while it's not everywhere, it's not enough to shock people.
Well,
Like, maybe there are other talking animals throughout the world.
Still think it would be enough to get tourists, though. I mean,
All I wonder is how in the hell, I mean, he's a smart bear. So does he still take a shit in the woods like or does he actually use a toilet? toilet paper?
no. That's
Save
he's
that for the sequel.
he used to, but he kept running into the Pope out there. So
he uses little rabbits to wipe his ass with. You heard about the whole rabbit joke where shit doesn't cling to their fur. Talking rabbits, by the way. You know what? I have always liked Yogi Bear, which is why I think I'm kind of partial to not coming down on this film very hard. I mean,
you really? You've always really been a Yogi Bear fan?
Man, I thought everybody liked Yogi Bear.
He's all right. I mean, I didn't dislike him.
only
Dude,
because
I
he
grew up
gives you-
loving Yogi Bear.
Well, a lot of it, well, at least for me, my only reason why I liked Yogi Bear was because it was always fun to try to talk like him. Because he had that distinctive voice.
He's one of the few cars.
Oh, ba, ba, boo. Then he becomes Jewish for some reason.
It's so distinctive. It sounds like Art Carney and Barney Rubble.
Boobala, you gotta get the picnic basket.
Well, that is true. That this is. We were talking about this the other day. It is based on Art Carney, and they premiered Yogi Bear. The first time I think he appeared was in 1958. Now, I didn't know this. Is that he didn't have his own show. Like, there's only one person who I can really think of that hates Yogi Bear, and that is Huckleberry Hound, because Yogi Bear he premiered on an episode of Huckleberry Hound, and then he pretty much became more famous than Huckleberry Hound. So Huckleberry Hound is somewhere in a hotel room with a cocaine table in front of him, like, sees the Yogi Bear movie on TV, and he shoots it with a gun. Like, fuck you, Yogi Bear.
Leon, you know all this, right? Didn't you draw Yogi Bear? Didn't you come up with the concept of
Well,
Yogi
as a
Bear?
matter of fact, the problem is not only was Huck jealous of Yogi, but Huckleberry Finn was he's a hillbilly.
Huckleberry Finn, Huckleberry Hound.
Huckleberry Hound.
Which
sorry.
Huckleberry Finn was a hillbilly. Finn was a hillbilly too, but
he was a hillbilly. So he hit the moonshine pretty hard after the whole thing happened, and now he's kind of a meth head.
And we'll be right back on Spill.com's Behind the Cartoons. Coming up next, Huckleberry goes on a shooting spree.
He's sitting around.
More cartoons from
Snagglepuss.
1940.
Snagglepuss arrested with a pound of marijuana.
That movie, Winter's Bone, that was supposed to be about me.
I succumb to meth and prostitutes and hookers. But man, and who was the guy that originally did his voice?
Dawes Butler.
Okay.
Dawes Butler did the voice of almost all those Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Really?
Yeah.
Even Snagglepuss?
He's the best.
Probably so.
Really?
I mean,
Wow.
he was like, you know what? Mel Blanc gets all the credit for being like the most versatile voice actor.
Right.
He probably was the most, but Dawes Butler was a close second.
Huh.
And he's done voices for just almost everybody in the Hanna-Barbera catalog and a bunch of others that that you've seen. And so they get Dan Aykroyd for this, where from the trailer I was like, oh shit, here we go. Watch it. He actually did a pretty decent job.
He really did.
He did. Yeah, I was scratching my head like, out of all the voice actors out there, Dan Aykroyd, was he really like not doing anything? Hey, Ghostbusters ain't happening right now. Might as well.
Well, hey, now, I don't know if you remember, but Dan Aykroyd is the guy who never says no.
Yeah, no, he is. But he's
Dan Aykroyd is the guy that Michael Caine would look at and go like, Jesus, man, you can take everything.
he stays involved with a lot of production stuff too, but it seems like when he performs, he wants to do family stuff more than not, and that's fine. Whatever. I mean,
he did an amazing job. I mean,
Well, I mean,
give him that.
it's you see interviews with him about this, which yes, embarrassingly, I watched an interview with Dan Aykroyd about playing Yogi Bear, and he's so serious about it. Like you'd think he's on like what's that Bravo show with James Lipton?
Behind the actor's studio.
So you
Inside the actor's studio.
Yogi Bear, tell us about that.
Well, I
It was a very fulfilling experience.
I was thinking about Dan Aykroyd when he was on Saturday Night Live. He was a technician. Like whenever he threw himself into a role, he really studied it. He was, he was almost like a scientist about it. And he's done a bunch of shit, movies in between, just stuff to get by. But I could see him taking this on from the way he played him, because to me the greatest strength of this movie is how true it stayed to Yogi Bear. They never do that anymore. They never take an old character and try to stay true. They try to hit, like you look at Alvin the Chipmunks. It's like, okay, we got to have him rap.
Yeah, and this is Warner Brothers' answer to Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yes.
I mean, back when it was like about 3 years ago as of this recording, and Warner Brothers just said, those chipmunks make a lot of fucking money. We need to bring our talking animal movie into our CG talking animal movie into our fold right here. And so,
what do we own?
Yeah, exactly. So they got a lot of them. So they decided to do Yogi Bear. And look, after seeing stuff like Garfield, even though I just adore A Tale of Two Kitties. I love that movie. No, I'm kidding.
You saw that?
Even Bill Murray doesn't like that. Come on.
It's funny because Bill Murray has said, I know we're going off on a tangent here, but Bill Murray was interviewed after doing the first Garfield, and he's like, yeah, that was a mistake. I don't know why I did that. And turns around and does A Tale of Two Kitties. So
He probably signed a contract to do sequels.
I guess so. Yeah.
Plus the dump truck of money they drove up to his house.
There's that I'm never doing another one of these. I got a piece of paper that says you are.
Oh, yeah, that is true. But now, so you look at movies like Garfield and the Chipmunks and whatever else they put out there, even to a certain level, Scooby-Doo, and you're thinking, not another one. This is going to be terrible. And the reason why I think something like this works, and it's not a great film, but the reason why it works is, one, they don't try to make Yogi too hip. Now, there's some parts where he's dancing to I Like Big Butts and stuff like that, but they're very brief. But Yogi
It's not hip anymore. It's like 20 years old.
Well, see, there you go.
Look,
Like I said, he's old school.
The thing is, Yogi isn't wearing a fucking hoodie, and that's all I was happy about.
That's true.
It's like, I don't want to see Yogi and Boo Boo wearing hoodies.
And Boo Boo in a black Malcolm X hat.
He's militant.
Or doing a Matrix move.
Stay black, Yogi.
Oh, speaking of Boo Boo, wow,
Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake blew me the fuck away.
Wait, really blew you away?
Yeah, he did. No, he did, because I honestly thought it was the actual actor who did Boo Boo doing the voice, and when I saw Justin Timberlake at the end of the credits, I was like, why? I was really shocked, but he did a good job.
He did. I got to say, both of them together.
I don't think anybody was incompetent in this film, but y'all are talking about, and y'all sitting next to y'all. Y'all were like sitting next to a bunch of gibbons. You were laughing so much. I'm like, what is funny? This isn't funny. This is funny if you're 8. No, there's nothing
It's
wrong
not funny
with that.
if you're Cyrus.
It's not, it's not
Yeah.
offensive by any stretch of the imagination, and what they were trying to do, they completely did. But it wasn't funny.
You know what? I'm not inviting you over to my McDonald's party.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Maybe it's because we're just bigger cartoon files than you.
Yeah, maybe so.
But there were just so many things. Like, one, I was just appreciating the hell out of it, just like I said, because it really was truly Yogi Bear, where all these other movies, they go off script so much, you just don't even expect anything from them. And there were just lots of little asides, little line here and there. Some of the other actors they had. The guy who plays the bad guy, I can't remember.
The mayor?
The mayor. And he's a
he was one of the best
actor.
things about it.
He's a scene stealer. I mean, that guy. That guy was phenomenal.
Andrew Daly.
Daly.
Because that's what the story.
Who I keep seeing pop up and stuff.
Yeah, because that's what the story is about. I mean, that's what makes it not so great. I mean, this is a stretch for what is essentially, the 2 or 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minute cartoons. So they have to rely on things like, the Jellystone Park is in trouble. Let's find a way to earn some money and get people in so that they don't close it for some big shopping mall development or whatever.
The evil developer story,
the evil
which
developers.
we've seen 80 billion
Yeah, so the
times.
mayor is coming in, and that's Andrew Daly, who is great. I mean, he's very funny, because he's an evil politician, but he's so snarky that you love his little quips.
Well, and I mean, Cyrus, you talk about why we were laughing. It's like, wow, you have the villain. He's doing his plan. It's so callous. It's not even a good plan. It's like the guy's actually pretty incompetent. Just the plan itself is funny to me. It's like, even if he accomplishes this, he's going to fuck up later and go to jail.
Because obviously it's not going to end with him winning.
But but I felt like even if it did, it would be funny in itself.
Well, what worked for me was that he was so self-aware.
Yes.
That he was like, yeah, this could work. It probably will, or it probably won't, but who cares? I'm still a fucking jerk.
Yeah,
You're gonna be on your ass looking for a job.
Yeah, so he's coming in. He's like, I'm gonna shut down Jellystone Park. And Ranger Smith, who's played here by Tom Cavanaugh, at this point he's like, you know what? I'm ever the optimist. I can make this thing work. I got this fine ass documentarian coming in, played by Anna Faris. I got a chance to hit on her. We're probably going to end up on some dates. She's gonna help me figure out how to make people want to come in and buy season passes. And this is done. I mean, in one day it is. It looks like it's working. I mean, wow, we got tourists coming in. We're getting money. But there's two things. One is his assistant, played by T.J. Miller, who wants to be a ranger so bad that he's just screwing up all over the place. But he can push that aside. No, the main thing is fucking Yogi Bear, man. Yogi Bear is so into stealing people's picnic baskets, being a center of attention, trying to dream up harebrained schemes that whatever he does is going to go wrong.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Our days of getting banged up to grab a meal are over, boo-boo. From now on, the picnic baskets are going to fall into our arms. Soldering iron?
Here you go.
Thank you. Okay, that should do it. Test rock.
Okay, Yogi.
Weight sensor triggered. Basket in position. Launch spring starts coiling. Firing pin drops. And... bullseye! I'm so smart it hurts.
You're standing on the soldering iron.
Or it's that. Ooh, hot. Ooh.
And sure enough, if anything can happen to save this park, Yogi Bear's going to come in and ruin it.
Well, it is funny how they point out the fact that besides being, a very intelligent bear, Yogi is a megalomaniac who really does have, they even point out, it's like, why do you feel like you have to be the center of attention?
Yeah.
To the point it hurts his feelings shit,
Yogi,
I got a problem.
Oh, he's sort of being like a sociopath. I mean, the only thing that's keeping him from killing people is, which he probably will start if he can't get his picnic basket fixed, is he loves food more. I mean,
but who didn't, in their mind at one point, but even little kids, when the ranger just tells him off of that scene, didn't picture Yogi just unsheathing those claws and just...
You know what?
Pulling a grizzly man
clothes? Why can't you be more like a real bear?
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I do have claws. Right?
Wow, humans taste much better than the shit in picnic baskets.
Yogi, no.
Yogi Bear 2.
I know how the taste for human blood.
Okay, now I was the one that was sitting by. I was the one sitting by Cyrus the whole time. So I was the one
So while
cackling.
over there having a good time.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's sitting by him.
By him just glowering
Well, no, the whole time. In fact, I started leaning on Coles more and more because all I could hear on my left side was. He sounded like a bear waking up.
Actually, I wasn't exasperated by this at all. And
You sounded like it.
what you were hearing was me yawning because it was a 10 o'clock in the morning screening, and I'm not as good with those. It wasn't because, the movie is what it is. I mean, it's a Yogi Bear film, and it's better than 80% of the films out there of
the
this
average
bear movie. But that's not saying much, really, because these films are generally pretty bad because they're not trying real hard. This one, at least they were trying. I just didn't think it was real funny. And that was really my only really problem with it. I'm like, it's a comedy that doesn't appeal to me on a comedic level.
I would be like you. I seriously would, because there is not a lot there.
You don't want to be like him.
No, not really. I'm just
soul.
trying to make him feel good. Come on. We're about to jump
I
all
got no
over.
soul till the next thing. It's you and me versus Corey.
Yeah. I love that every week is like different alliances.
Cyrus sucks this week. Let's not hang out with him.
Cyrus sucks. But besides somebody
I'm
like
gonna go eat worms.
some of your people like Andrew Daly, who's very funny, like people like Tom Cavanaugh and T.J. Miller, they're not. They're very mediocre in the film.
Well, the material's not there. It's
not there for them.
Material.
That's what I'm saying. Even Anna Faris, who I like, is not at her best here. But
Yeah, they're not playing her up for comedy.
But,
which
you
is
know, no.
always weird because she's really funny lady and she's kind of the straight man here.
well, she has a comedic moments. Except like a lot of people in this movie, the human characters don't have a lot of funny lines, except for when they're interacting with Yogi Bear. And I like Yogi Bear, man. I mean, for me. It really is hard not to like him whenever he's on screen. He made me laugh. The stuff that he would do with Boo Boo made me laugh. I mean, like scenes where they would he would be discovered, like going into his cave, and Ranger Smith would be like, "Hey, yo, wait a minute, what? Why the fuck is this soda machine in here?" And he's like, "Oh, what soda machine, sir?" I mean, it was so fun to see him just try to cover his tracks and not do it very well. And I think that again, it's because they tried to keep the essence, and I'm making it sound deeper than what it is. They kept the essence of Yogi Bear to what it truly is. No, they stayed true to his roots. No, I mean, it's a simple cartoon. It's a character modeled after somebody already with, like we said, Art Carney from The Honeymooners. But even then, that's still funny here. They didn't try to add a lot of fart jokes in here, which would be very easy to do with a movie about a bear that loves to eat. They talk about it, but again, it's brief. They don't do it. And a lot of this just seemed like, you know what, we're really going for whimsical fun, mainly for kids, instead of trying to talk down to kids by saying, "Hey, look how 2010 Yogi Bear is now." So that's why I like this.
I think it's a real feat to pull off having a movie like this that is a kids movie, and yet adult doesn't necessarily will, but can find very enjoyable and funny, and sticking like you say, it's true to Yogi Bear. And it sounds like, it's an easy feat, but it's not. We're talking about 6-minute cartoons that you're turning into an hour-and-a-half movie, and we watch people drop the ball spectacularly all the time.
Saturday Night Live.
Oh, just over and over. Well, those skits, but just anytime they take an old cartoon, we go in just already groaning. Even seeing the trailer of this, this is gonna be torture. And it turned out that, it worked. And the thing is, they also do the thing, it's been a formula in a lot of these kind of movies lately, is to have a villain who's a comedian, who's they're not just a villain, they're kind of like a low-level asshole. You had David Cross in the Alvin and the Chipmunks movie, and then Ken Jeong in Furry Vengeance. But Andrew Daly works the best at this. And he's one of these characters, every time he comes on, you can't wait to hear what he's going to say next. But Yogi Bear's the same way. Him and Boo Boo together. It's man, what are they going to do? They really draw the attention. The human characters are weak, sure, but the main attraction is not.
Yeah, it's not them.
I'll say this about the 3D. It's the only time I've ever actually ducked in a movie because they're kind of not really doing much with it. And then there's a shot about 20 minutes in where something flies very unexpectedly at the screen. And I was like, ah!
It's a movie where the 3D does work, which was surprising. It's wow, this doesn't look like the other converted shitty 3D movies I've seen.
It's not converted.
It made that's why. Yeah, but and the thing is that it's you're right. As far as they managed to get the Yogi Bear that we're all familiar with. We know him inside and out. Not to get gross, but that Yogi Bear that we saw in those old cartoons, it just it seemed like he just walked in, did this movie, and I was like, okay, this is Yogi Bear, and it's a very simple story, but. That's why I actually stayed and watched those cartoons, while they were on, because they were fun cartoons, and this was a fun movie, and it very much is a kids movie, and it didn't play down to someone like me, and it actually entertained me. There's little quirky things about that movie that I actually really liked, and the villain, the main villain is he's gold. I mean, which is what I think a lot of these movies suffer from. It's not having a good villain. So, you want to cheer Yogi Bear on in this movie.
Well, you bring up a good point by saying, I was talking about how they don't try to make Yogi Bear too hip for kids. I mean, they also do the opposite thing of not trying to force too much adult humor in here, hidden adult humor for the parents to see. I mean, I'll go ahead and just sum it up because I think we all agree except for Sourpuss.
I have a feeling the fans are going to take my side on
And
this
you know
one,
what? They
but
can
I'm just
because
saying.
They can't. Yeah, good luck. Have fun with it.
You know what?
Fuck the fans, boo.
Yeah, fuck the fans, Cyrus. I mean, it's like
Don't worry, Cyrus. Those guys are crazy.
and that's
See
fine.
it now.
Listen, because I already hear it. People are going to compare it to another movie. You gave this movie a rental, and you're going to give Yogi Bear, man. You can't compare movies of different genres, different types, different categories. Everything works within their own thing, and this is by no means a film I'm going to go run down the street telling people, man, you know, fucking Yogi Bear, you got to see that. No, I'm not going to run out telling people that. It's not that good of a movie. But the main thing that they remembered, what worked about it is Yogi Bear. And if it works, don't change it. And that was their biggest strength. They didn't change that. I give it a low matinee. It's perfect as one of those movies to take the family to in the middle of the day on Saturday. And yeah, you'll forget about it, but I guarantee the kids will have a good time while they're there.
I see it as a movie where if you have kids, you can take them to see it. You'll all have a good time. Or you might say, like, I'm just going to wait and rent it. But you know what? Your kids will want to watch it more than once, and you'll probably, despite yourself, end up watching it with them more than once. And, for all the reasons we have given out, I just give it a regular matinee. It was a lot of fun. And, you know what? It's my favorite kind of screen to go to where it's a surprise, where I'm just like, don't want to do this, don't want to wake up, don't want to sit through this. We're just going to read a book and end up going like, wow, I'm actually having a good time.
The only thing that was a surprise to me was that there was nothing, and I mean nothing hateful in this film, because I really expected to come out of it like, I think everyone expected to see it and go, wow, this was just yet another example of cashing in on something without any effort being put into it whatsoever. And that's not the case here. There was a lot of integrity involved with trying to get it right. But that being said, I was never really a fan of the original Yogi Bear cartoon. I was always like, really? That's it? Okay, whatever. Next. Let's see if that one with all the characters racing each other is on. Didn't we remember what that was called?
The Wacky Races.
The Wacky Races. Thank you. That was the one I watched. But I mean, it is what it is. I wasn't terribly amused by it, but neither did I really hate it. There were moments here and there that made me chuckle, but I can't give it more than a rental.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and give it a matinee. Yeah, you're all of you are right as far as it was a movie I was not looking forward to seeing. I was actually cursing when I was in my car going to the theater, going, God damn, why the fuck do I have to see this?
Sometimes I really hate my job.
It's like going to one of those kid parties where you're not really looking forward to it. You got to go.
What are you doing going to kids' parties?
And then the moms are all hot.
And then you get there, and then you see the drunk grandfather, and he's making you laugh your ass off. And you're just like, okay,
you nailed it, dude.
Yeah,
That's right.
and you're just like, wow, this is awesome. I'm glad I'm here. It was a fun movie. Yeah, I'm gonna forget it the next day, but it did capture the spirit of Yogi Bear. They didn't try to hip him up, thank God. And it was just an honest, fun movie, and it seemed like everyone involved seemed like they were having a good time making it. So. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah,
and I'm fully expecting to hear people like, "Oh, you guys crazy." I mean, it's a movie that everybody's ready to hate, and I'm telling you, I'm that guy. I'm not trying to be like everybody. I'm not trying to look good. I went there and laughed at Yogi Bear. Yeah, bitch, I laughed.
Hey, Corey, I'm not judging you. I'm not putting you on trial.
I know why. Why am I looking at you?
I'm not judging you either. I'm that guy sometimes. That one guy going, "Look, fuck y'all. I liked it. What can I tell you?"
So you didn't like Yogi Bear, huh?
No, not really.
I mean, growing up.
No, it's all right. It was one of a series of Hanna-Barbera cartoons. I went, okay, whatever. I don't really hate it or anything, but it's nothing. It's not turning me.
What about Snagglepuss?
I like Snagglepuss. He's one of my favorite characters.
Because he's gay.
What can you say? Flamboyant gay guys are hysterical.
I gotta say, man, look, I'm with him.
It's true. I love Roger the Alien.
Exactly.
Were you a Pink Panther fan?
No, actually, I was never a Pink Panther fan.
No,
serious?
The movies, yeah,
but not the cartoon.
Yeah, it's all right.
Oh man,
no, I'm all with you on Snagglepuss. It's something about looking at like a gay Chippendale that's a lion walking around.
Yeah. Oh, heavens to heavens, heavens to Murgatroyd.
Chippendale stole the look from him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know about you guys. You guys, I was a big fan of Laugh Olympics, so that was like the ultimate Hanna-Barbera.
That was after that was a retread.
Yeah, but when you bring them all together,
Laugh Olympics was the Love Boat to them. That was like after their careers, they kind of tanked. Somebody's like, "Come on, I'll hire you guys for scale and put you in something."
I just love that one dog, the one who.
Oh, Mudley? Yeah.
Was it Muttley? Was that
was Mudley?
He needs his own goddamn movie. After this, I was like, where's the Mudley movie?
And listen, I can totally understand why you, Cyrus, would not like Yogi Bear, because I mean, Hanna-Barbera does that a lot. They have the animals who just screw with the human owners all the time. I mean, they hate these animals. Like what's his name from?
Oh yeah, Mr. Peebles and McGilla.
And McGilla Gorilla. I mean, even Muttley was getting on Dick Dastardly's nerve. He's a villain. He's just kind of like, I'm about to get a real villain on your ass and murder you, you little mother.
Because he'd screw up, and the dog who was supposed to be on his side is like,
That dog just looked like he didn't give two shits.
he's just there to watch shit fall apart.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who it happens to.
Yeah.
He's just Schadenfreude the dog.
I'm about to give a damn about you, Dick Dastardly. Who are you to me?
Smoking weed.
Four grown-ass men trying to chase a pigeon. What
Yeah, who the hell are you? Yeah, so I don't blame you like him. I'm surprised Ranger Smith didn't ever take Yogi out in the woods and just say, Yogi, look over there. Look, what do I see? Oh, I see him, Ranger Rick. Nothing but fields and fields of picnic pound.
The rabbits, Yogi. Look at the rabbits.
Ranger Smith over there laying on a bearskin rug with a hat and a tie on. I'm toasting himself. I finally got the son of a bitch. I finally got him.
And he does it all naked.
What?
or maybe Cindy Bear is in the shower during this scene.
Now you're getting
I think
something
this is
illegal,
just,
brother.
I think this is just Rangers Cosmo centerfold is what that is.
I got Yogi.
And together,
This is the most advanced picnic basket stealing technology ever invented.
Wow.
they've got lunch covered
I'm so smart it hurts.
in 3D.
It's got a little of everything. Music, stunts, magic, and I jump over Boo Boo at the end.
No, you don't.
I'm gonna try it.
I don't care.